In today's video, I'll present you our new LA.player software and get more into details. As mentioned in our previous quick introduction video, which you can find in the detail card, LA.player is available for both Windows 10 60-bit version or newer, as well as Mac OS 13 Ventura or newer. So what is needed to operate LA.player? Beside a suitable PC or Mac, you will also need an AVB-capable Ethernet interface, such as our USB to AVB for Windows. For Mac user, a Mac native Ethernet port, for example on a Mac Mini, or the Sonnet AVB interface for MacBook or Mac Mini would be needed. Once this interface has been correctly installed, it will show up as output interface through the ASIO Multiphase USB. So what is LA.player? LA.player is the program from LaserAnimation Sollinger used for playback of existing AIFF files or shows and output them as AVB stream. AIFF stands for Audio Interchange File Format, so basically a sort of multi-channel audio file format. These playback files or AIFF files can be generated with our LA.recorder or by other softwares, for example Touchdesigner. Our LA.player can, whenever you have a compliant laser projector from LaserAnimation, which can be a PHAENON or Pico with PHAENON mainboard, directly stream via AVB the existing show from your computer or Mac to the laser projector. This requires, of course, some additional hardware such as AVB compliant switches. We will discuss this in a later step. How to operate LA.player? First of all, make sure that your AVB-capable Ethernet interface is connected, active and correctly configured. Now you can start LA.player and it will show following screen. LA.player is an intuitive software with a single screen, so you have all you need on that single page. The upper part of the window is where you can load your show files. You can either drag and drop AIFF files onto the black surface or use the Add button on the left side. Once added, you will see following information on your screen. In this example, I have two shows, both with the same sampling rate, same XY RGB stream format. The stream number, the first column on the left, can be modified by double-clicking on it and inserting a new stream number. And you need to confirm with Enter. An important info, stream number must be a unique one. You can't have two shows outputting on the same stream at the same time. On the right side, you have two further checkboxes. This stands basically for visualization and activates visualization. We will discuss this at the end briefly. And you have out, which activates the output of the stream to the corresponding stream number. If out is not selected, you won't have a stream output. In order to have an output, you also need to check Enable Output, which we have basically here in the middle. In order to have an output, you need to check Enable Output. If everything has been set correctly, you should get a below screen showing that LA.player is correctly connected. On the Mac OS, your output sound card will only appear once you have set an AVB stream or connection with an LA.toolbox. If you get an error message, then there might be a sample rate mismatch between your output files, which are here recorded at 48 kHz, and your AVB interface, which has a different sampling rate. This can be checked through LA.toolbox by selecting your AVB talker and placing the mouse above one of its outputs. Now that show files and output has been set, we must trigger playback of set files. As with our LA.recorder, you may also want to sync a timecode data information to your playback. This can be made on the bottom left field, which is set timecode. If you want your show to repeat or loop, just check the box at Repeat File. An important information up front, even though you can select switch from internal to net to LCC with these three fields, the timecode source has always to be selected through the timeline on the bottom. The idea behind this is that you can check all settings before activating the respective timecode. With internal timeline, LA.player will generate an internal timecode signal and playback the files according to this internal timecode, which can also be output as net timecode if you check the corresponding box. By default, the start timecode value will be 1 hour, 0 minutes, 0 seconds, 0 frame, but you can also change this if, for example, you want to start playback of your show with a different timecode value. You can set a stop value for the timecode as well. By doing so, LA.player will start playback of the show at the specified start timecode and will stop at specified stop timecode. Next to internal timeline, you can also select our net timecode, which is an UDP broadcast-based timecode. Once detected in the network, the source will show the net timecode adapter. In our case, we have here the IP address of my computer. There are numerous other possible sources for net timecode, such as our laser graph DSP, showline, LPV.player, or LPV creator. If you have an external SMPT timecode, you can also convert it to net timecode using a special SMPT to net timecode adapter from LaserAnimation. Once selected, you will see that LA.player will be waiting for a timecode. The play stop buttons are grayed out as being not available due to the external timecode trigger. Once a net timecode is received, playback will start accordingly and show the current position of the show. You can also adjust start as well as stop values of the timecode. On below example, the player will only start playback of both shows once incoming net timecode has reached the value of 1 minute, 0 second, 0 frame. So we will see now we had 45 seconds and then it will start. Now it just reached 1 minute and you see basically on the timeline that our show is playing. Status is connected, 10 channels at 48 kHz. As with LA.recorder, you can also select a sound interface as a receiver from an external LTC by selecting LTC. Finally, the visualization part. If you want, you can check the corresponding box and the output AVB stream will also be redirected or made available for different visualization software, such as our LA Preview, being part of LA.tools, or Capture, depends to WYSIWYG, and some others. Projector offset over here is very useful if you have different projectors in your preview and you don't want them all to display as being projector 1. So basically it will force a projector number different than 1. And we've come to an end to today's LA.player explained in detail tutorial. Do not miss our next tutorial and please watch our existing LA.toolbox and LA.tools video. Upcoming, a tutorial on how to get LA.tools connected to the suitable AVB interface, both listeners and talker interfaces. Stay tuned.